Hi and welcome to a TFF preview show for Season 3. We have with us Dom, the boss at Hull, and Hammer, the newly appointed Port Vale manager. And we've got Richie hopefully joining us very soon. How are you, lads?
We're great. Bit but
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
yep.
I can hear a bit of echo in the background. Let's hope this comes out all right.
Okay.
Let's start with you, Hammer. You've just changed jobs.
Well, bit of a hard call, really, actually. Season 1, sitting at the top of the division in Season 1, and now Season 3, I'm sitting, looking at the table, thinking, "Cool, I'm in Division 3 now." Like,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a good chance for me to obviously start fresh again, see what I can do with the team. A lot of people have gone, bit of arguments about some of my transfer activities, but I'm making it a more homegrown team this time more than anything, trying to bring in a bit of homegrown talent. See what I can.
Saw that with you've already signed John O'Shea.
John O'Shea, Andrew Townsend, Tom Alderson, Tom Inks, Sam McQueen, got another 3 homegrown players on their way in as well.
Are these players you would have signed them?
Never in a million years.
Anyway, but Hammer, I've seen his work before. You know, he's good in getting promotions. You know, I can see him getting Port Vale up and running. Well, I don't know what you're laughing at. Hammer nearly won the league with Tottenham. You know,
Should have won the league with Tottenham.
we should have won the league. He knows that.
Have you ever felt what it's like to be at the top?
Not in TFF, no.
Didn't think so, mate.
I've been around for one season. One season. I'll be near the top this season.
Cool, even Craig's done better than you. At least he's felt it as well.
I've been around for one season. One season.
Let's move on, man. Let's not get caught up on you not being at the top.
Yeah. Let's move on, and I'll try not to mention both your hairstyles.
Obviously, I would like to say good luck to Scunthorpe United's new manager Lewis, moving from
that was a
Swan.
strange one as well. Come to that.
I know that's another big move in the managerial ranks.
Okay, Division 4 then, lads. Have you two had a look at all? Have you done your homework?
Yes.
Go on in, Dom. Bring some professionalism into it.
Well, in Division 4 is probably the most open in out of all 4 divisions.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
There's no 1 or 2 outstanding teams. It's all very equal. There's a couple of good managers, but it's really hard for me to say. There's obviously you at Southend, Thumbs at Doncaster.
I didn't think you meant us two as the good managers.
No, but the rest of them make you guys look like Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho.
I'm not saying nothing because there's really good teams in there, and there's a goalkeeper. 88 goalkeepers gone to Rochdale. You've got Thumbs at Doncaster. Bradford have come down. You've got Lewis at Scunthorpe. You've got Carlisle, Mansfield, Luton. You've got Blackpool with Andrew Flint. They're all going to be competitive.
The one team that I'm looking at in Division 4 is Carlisle.
Yeah,
They've got
nearly went up last season.
Yeah, and when the next rating changes come up, they've got some massive rises coming through the ranks as well to their squad.
And they get decent crowds. I think they've got about 19,000 stadiums. So they should be up there for Division 4. Bradford should be in a good position as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the team that's got my attention probably has to be Fleetwood. I've been following their manager since season 1. Since season 1, I've been following Fleetwood.
That's a run.
Yeah, Dazza Russell, decent manager, good friend of mine, good friend. But I'm looking at their team and I'm thinking, bro, he's getting work from this team when it comes to team-wise. He's got decent little rifles in there. He's got Grealish, obviously, attacking midfielder. He's only 22, he's English. Decent young man. He hasn't been playing with World War funds where everyone thought he was going to be. but he's still really decent young lad. Cole, but he just bought a few players well on the cheap from obviously getting free agents.
So what's his average rating looking like then? What's his best players?
He's got 86s in there. He's got some 86s in there.
So
he's got an 86 back. Dias Philippe, the SPAL centre back Brazilian.
So you think Fleet would be up there? They came last, didn't they? They came 20th.
Mate, anything can happen in the world of football.
Well, that is true. I mean, who would think that?
Leicester City.
I would be Southend and you'd be Port Vale in season 3.
I know you guys are making me look like Barcelona, but I don't see Fleetwood being up there. I don't see Fleetwood being up there. There's far stronger teams in the division.
Yeah.
Probably better managers as well that have probably shown more.
I mean, what about Daz's England experience though? Would that not help?
No.
Richie's trying to log on, by the way.
All right, okay, that's fine.
That sound is, I think. Did it add you? No, Richie. Keep talking, you two. I'm trying to add Richie.
That's fine. I thought Hammer was going to say something there.
I generally was still listening to you, Dom, mate. But if you want me to take over, I could take lead on this one.
Yeah, go.
But honestly, yeah, I think Division 4 is the proving ground of all managers, to be fair, in TFF. Generally, I think any manager that wants to prove that they're one of the best managers in TFF, take yourself a Division 4 team, build your way up, make yourself an established manager. I think, if I'm correct, we've got a manager that just gone from Division 3 to Division 1 in 2 seasons.
Or Division 4 to Division 2, you mean?
Division 3 to Division 1, if I'm correct. Gillingham just did it.
No, they go up.
Didn't they go up? Oh my God, I haven't done my research good enough.
No, but you made a good point, Hammer, that people should sort of earn their stripes.
I mean, look, we could counteract the fact that I took one of the biggest teams, right, in Tottenham, nearly won the league, came second, got to a UEFA Cup final, didn't win nothing, left the team purely on that aspect alone. It weren't nothing to do with my transfer embargo. I had a shed load of money. I could have easily built myself a fresh team. But it was purely because, look, I didn't do good enough in my eyes. Everyone would go, oh yeah, well, Tottenham finishing second in your first season in charge. An achievement. Getting to a cup final in your first season in charge, an achievement. But if you look at the gap I had, should have won the league. Simple as that. Had to stand down. Went to Nottingham Forest. Their team was, if I'm correct, the lowest value team in Division 2 when I took over. Managed to establish them as the top 10 team again. Admittedly, yeah, first season, Cam started off brilliantly, undefeated, 17 games, flopped it, near enough got relegated. Second season, started off brilliantly. He left, I took over, established my background into the team. Obviously, some people go, OAP, Hammer, all well and good. Have a look at the team, there's some decent little youths in there as well. Just saying. Obviously, Dom, I know you have your own opinions on some of the youths I bring in, but everyone has their own likes to who they like and who they don't like. Now I've taken over Port Vale, and it is generally one of them ones of, I have no intentions of leaving Port Vale. Port Vale is where I'm going to stamp myself in now. I have no intentions of leaving. If a job comes up, you might as well say, look, I'm not going nowhere near it. This is now where I'm going to build a team, which I plan within the next 3 seasons to be in Division 2. It's as simple as that. If I'm not in Division 2, I'm not doing something right.
Hammer, you spoke well there. I mean, I can't argue with any of that because there's plenty of managers that don't step down and should, and you did, and I think, we've all had people have had a laugh at your expense and all the rest of it. The thing is, Hammer, as well, you did all these YouTube vids, and you do some daft things, you say some daft things, but it's all pantomime, and I do the same running this YouTube show. So when you got people,
it's generally that I do it purely on the aspect of, look, guys, you're going to be sitting there for 45 to an hour each time watching me on myself. At the time it was on myself, I had to make it as much entertainment as possible to have you guys wanting to sit there for the whole time, listening to me gibber on about, not only Division 1, but Division 2, Division 3, and Division 4 at the time, covering all 4 divisions. Now we've got a panel show going. Absolutely brilliant idea. I still props up to the panel show every day. Every time there's a video, I'm straight one of the first people to watch it, straight one of the first people to go, guys, brilliant job. He's doing an absolute brilliant job with these panel shows. And we're only seeing TFF grow. People are queuing now by the numbers saying they want to join TFF.
Still,
and that just proves the point.
That don't even know about the panel show. But, anyway, I'll come on to that later. But Hammer, listen, the panel show was born out of your... It's all from you, mate. You created the YouTube thing. So you can take a bit of credit for that. But all I was going to say is people like yourself and then me with this, we're there to be shot at, mate, because, you know, we're easy targets out of ourselves. So, I'm just going to add Richie. So it's good to get an extra guest in, isn't it? Where are you?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Richie's an absolute brilliant.
So hopefully this works. Sorry about that. I was listening to you, Hammer. You were speaking quite well there. Let's see if this works.
I do also agree with the whole perspective that I'm looking at some of the big clubs and I'm thinking, mate, there is a couple of managers that I'm going to aim some of you say in a second. So please be warned. If you've got kids awake, be warned. They don't want to be watching what's coming up for these two managers in a second.
Richie Burns, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Cool. Ain't heard that voice in a while.
How you doing, lads? Can you see me?
You're coming. Not literally, I hope.
Well, I was generally about to say the same thing, but I thought if look, I'm PG right now.
As a panel stager.
The sound quality is not amazing, but Dom,
can you guys see me yet?
Oh, why is my laptop being an absolute arsehole to me?
I think it's all of ours, isn't it? What's happened to Dom? We can see Dom's ceiling and we can't see Richie.
Sorry.
I don't know why I'm not coming up for.
All I just saw was
the video.
I'm a bit worried there.
You there, Richie?
Oh, you can see me now?
Yeah, but we've lost Dom. We can see Dom's ceiling.
Well, it's better than his face, isn't it?
I've got Dom, Richie, and there we go. Hello,
Richie. You lower the screen.
All
right. And Richie, we've lost Richie again. Oh well.
What a shame.
Richie, where are you?
I'm just trying to figure this out. This is.
We had you. We had you. We lost you. Well, Richie, we can still do it, even if we can't. We can only hear you.
I think this is better, actually.
I don't know what's going on with this dodgy Skype.
It's like musical chairs. All stay still.
You can just tell this show's going to be a fucking disaster.
No, you can actually tell that people might generally sit down and listen to the whole thing, to be fair.
I've given up trying to be professional. And
no, we was professional about the first 20 million videos we did. Now we might as well just be the entertainment.
Do you know, I'm trying to go in the options. I think if I go in the options, there must be a way to turn the camera on or something.
Well, we had you on. We saw you.
Yeah.
Settings.
No.
Oh my God! Look, I've been sitting here wondering why my laptop ain't turning on right, because I've had it plugged in for ages.
By the way, you lost all professional ability as soon as you put Hammer on this show.
Yeah, they say never work with children and animals, but you can add Hammer and Craig to that list.
So why you got Dom in there, boy?
Oh, it's all out of love, Hammer. Richie, if you can hear it,
yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Hello, Richie, gorgeous.
All right then. So Division 4, we're saying it's a real mixed bag, Richie. Anyone can go up, but probably Thumbs will go up, and if Thumbs doesn't go up, it's disgrace.
Are we all the same Thumbs that didn't do nothing really with Bolton?
No, Thumbs is a good manager, I'm only joking. Right, so I want to.
Oh, he generally is a good manager, yeah. Apart from he just don't really do good at getting promotion.
Right, on to Division 3. Where do you fellas see that one?
Alright, let's have a look at Division 3.
What at the top?
Do you want to start, Richie?
What at the top?
Yeah.
Well, Reading, obviously.
Reading?
Yeah. The squad is just ridiculous. I mean, look how much it's valued compared to the rest of the league.
Yeah. Richie, thanks for bringing up that value. Just a big shout out to James Murray for all his work he does on the Facebook page, which we've got around 16 members now. And James compiled a list of every team's squad value and their ground capacity. Bit misleading in Division 4, James, because you included my 3 loans, which is worth 18 million. So Southend, the reality is Southend are a bit lower, but I won't hold that against you. But what we did notice in Division 3 was the discrepancy between Reading and the second place highest value team was about 70 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Who was it?
I think
Reading and then...
Sheffield United were second.
Yeah, it was Reading and his team, Sheffield United, yeah.
Yeah, his old team. He's good at building stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, having said that, James has done a decent job at carrying on that work at Sheffield United.
Yeah, he has.
James is a popular member of TFF.
He got that Valencia defender as well, the old Arsenal boy. Forgot his name now.
Palista.
That's the one. He signed him today as well, so that's a really good signing.
Yeah.
He might go up in the review.
Yeah. The best signing that James has made, I think, is the Belgian defensive midfielder, Naki Mbemba or something like that.
Easy for you to say, Dom.
Yeah. I can't pronounce it. Been linked with all sorts of clubs, so he's done some really good work.
The two obvious ones, Reading and Sheffield United. Sorry, are not the obvious ones. Reading and Fulham are the two obvious ones in my eyes. I think Sheffield United will be in the playoffs.
I don't know. They've got a really strong team.
It's a toss-up for me.
What? There's another team. Is it Gillingham? They have all the old players.
No, they're in Division 2.
Division 2.
I'm not Gillingham. What am I talking about? I'm half asleep. I just done my run.
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield. That's it. Chesterfield. Yeah.
Hammer, you still there?
I think they just got that Pele striker as well off Ford. 89 rated, the geezer that plays in China.
Oh, Pele.
So that's another solid signing for them as well. He's a safe 89.
That was my old Colchester striker.
Did he get a lot of goals for you?
Yeah, I got him on the tail end of the season and he got us over the line. He had a goal to game ratio, but that was in Division 4.
I'm just getting the league up now. You've got Wolves as well. Wolves are a good team. They've got some good players. They're going to be in the top 6.
Yeah, Wolves, Sheffield United, Reading, Fulham, Chesterfield.
Charlton, they've got a new manager, haven't they?
Charlton, new manager. What about Hammer at Port Vale, Richie?
Nah, he's shit. No, he'll probably do all right. He's made some half-decent signings.
I think we've lost him. I think Hammer's gone now.
Good. No, Hammer will do all right. He'll be up there as well. He'll top 10, I'd say. Maybe top 6.
That'd be so nice.
Hammer, you're back.
There's a relegation candidate. I've got Impact as a relegation candidate.
Hammer, Richie saying you'll come 10th, and Dom saying you're going to get relegated.
Relegated. Okay, well, my squad value has gone up to 45.5 million since I've taken over. Let's just start there. Have a look at that stat again, what you just read a minute ago about where the squad value was when I took over to where it is since I've taken over.
Could you hear it, Hammer?
8 hours alone. No, I was in the middle of a phone call, mate. I had someone ringing me, asking me a couple of questions.
Oh, right, fair enough. You were doing a deal for Port Vale, weren't you?
I was doing a deal for Port Vale.
To be fair, mate, you've done some good deals so far. Trying to think of one.
Townsend,
Townsend,
yeah, he was a good signing on a free as well, wasn't he?
5.2 million valued at 7
that's
million.
a good signing, isn't it? For Division 3.
I even said that Howard Townsend was a decent signing.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you can sell him for what, 7?
7, maybe.
Just over 7.
Yeah, just over 7.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a decent signing.
What about the teams that went down? Are they going to challenge?
Rotherham, yeah.
Rotherham, I think, will do all right.
Rotherham.
Alan's got a decent team there, and he's active. So, who else went down? Well, my team, obviously. And was it Bristol City?
Yeah, I don't know the other two that went down.
The Bristol City guy,
City.
he messaged me, or we messaged each other a while ago, and he just said, I think he's at university and he's been really busy, but he's going to try and be a bit more active.
Oh, good for him. His team's half decent as well. He should really be kind of looking at the top 6, maybe. Going on ratings, there's a lot of 87s, 86s in there.
Yeah, the Millwall manager, Bogdan, spoke to him today. He's never heard of the panel show. I don't know what he's done.
Is that Millwall? He's Yeah, his team is. Oh, I would say Division 4 worthy. I could see them going. I could see them going down. To be honest.
All right, then.
Um,
Let's move on to Division 2 then. Hammer, what do you reckon?
Division 2. Give me 2 seconds, bro, and I'll pull it up on
Who's
the
going to go
older.
up?
It's a hard call, actually. It's generally a really hard call.
Mm.
Let's have a little look quickly. Hold up. Right. So if we're looking at rating wise, yeah, you got to look at Sunderland. Sunderland's going to go up. Sunderland, the what if not the most valued team in the division.
Mm.
If they don't go up, Nick Ford's got to be looking at himself thinking what's gone wrong. They're the most valued team in Division 2. Their average rating right now as it stands is a 90 just for the first team. For a Division 2 club, that should be a walk in the park. A walk in the park. At an average rating of 90, there's still Division 1 teams that don't even reach that.
Yeah, and they get big attendances as well.
Sunderland have one of the best gate revenues right now in Division now.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem for them. It generally shouldn't. And then you've got to argue then, okay, Sunderland's going up. Who's going to go up with them? That's when it starts getting a bit tricky because you could be looking at Hull thinking Hull have arguably, again, one of the strongest teams. And then you've got to look Gillingham. They've only just missed out. They had a brilliant season. QPR, again, they have a brilliant team. Swansea, they have one of the strongest teams. Nottingham Forest, they have one of the strongest teams and a new manager. Middlesbrough are now starting to come together really well.
I like Ipswich.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna put my horses on saying Sunderland and Derby maybe going up this season, and then in the playoffs, I think Hull will go up for the playoffs.
So you think Bowles will turn it round because they nearly went down? You think Derby are going to now go up top 2?
If you look at how things are looking right now with the way his team's looking, generally, yeah, he's got probably the second strongest team going. And that's purely because of the amount of players he's got. He's got depth over most of the teams. He's got the most depth, bar Leyton Orient.
And then,
But again, you look at Leyton Orient. Andrew's building a brilliant team at Leyton Orient. Their average rating's 88. Admittedly, they're going into the season as one of the weakest when it comes to squad value-wise. But players like Yaya Toure in there, you've always got a chance.
yeah, we've got Sheffield.
he's gonna drop soon, though, isn't he?
Sorry, Richie.
I said, he's probably going to drop soon. The review's going to be coming up, so he won't hold his rating for the whole season.
No, he'll drop to 88. So, yeah.
Andrew Lane at Birmingham. Nick Dunks at Wednesday. Norwich have got Chris Tapps now. I think this league's ridiculous again.
Blackburn, they've got Keith there.
Oh, this is such a hard division to call.
You got Parvell at Huddersfield, sorry. You got Chris Tapp at Norwich. You got Snake at Ipswich. You got Mick at Barnsley.
Yeah,
mate, that's generally one of the hot.
It's a ridiculous division.
The 3 teams that went up are going to be good as well. You know, Wimbledon will be up there.
They will.
Keith, I think, will do all right, and so will Orient. I think the 3.
You know what?
What surprised me is the 3 of them finishing in the top 6.
It's going to be a bun fight, Division 2.
I'm going to say it as it is. I think the one team that we've all got to be worried about for Division 2 this season as it stands is Preston North End. They're the one team that looks at.
I think it's going to be.
They're the one team that looks at a place in that division.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, they're a piece of shit. Their squad value is terrible.
Yeah, squad value, actually, if we're going to be fair, Wimbledon, you're all saying Wimbledon. Wimbledon have one of the arguably smallest teams in the division, and they're only just valued more than Preston North End.
But I reckon Wimbledon
in terms of rating, Wimbledon are a lot better in terms of rating.
Yeah, they've got
Wimbledon have got a winning mentality. They've done it twice now.
Or a decent manager.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wimbledon made the playoffs.
No,
Well, Sean should be a good manager, shouldn't he? Because he gets a lot of practice. He's got about 6 accounts. So he gets in a lot of practice, doesn't he?
I mean,
I would see it as the point of perspective. If Wimbledon finish top 10, say, per se, they're going to get a payout. They're going to get a payout if they stay up anyway. I'm thinking he's been told by his chairman probably avoid relegation. purely because of his squad's average rating to the rest of the league. He's probably been told to avoid relegation or finish top half of the table. So if he finishes top 10 first season, he'll get himself an investment, get himself back next season, and he'll be able to push on for promotion to the Premier League. But generally, right now, I'm looking at Wimbledon, and all the users saying Wimbledon are going to be up there. I'm going to put my house on it and say Wimbledon's probably going to be fighting relegation for the first season in the Championship.
No, I don't think so.
And that's purely just looking at their squad rating wise for the average of the first team.
But he's very good at his tactics. That's the thing.
You could be good at all tactics, but if I feel the team full of 60 rated and I'm the best tactician on the game and I feel 60 rated against your 99s, I'm not going to win, am I?
No. Yeah,
So that's Division 2, sorry, and then on to Division 1. Where do we see the title going this year? Hard, isn't it?
Liverpool.
See,
You know what?
I don't think Liverpool because I think Johnny had a great chance last season, but I think it's going to get harder this year.
I'm not too sure. I don't think City won't be nowhere near it.
Well, you don't know, Dom. You don't know because
You say City won't be nowhere near it, but we're on about the same City that's got a Boomerang.
lads, City could have a new manager by in the.
No, he's staying.
Is he?
He's staying.
I thought he applied for Swansea, didn't he?
Right for Swansea, Dom.
The official
He's come out
statement-
in the last hours saying he wants to stay and fight.
If no one else applied for Swansea, he would have stepped in and taken Swansea. Now someone else has applied for Swansea. He's holding his hands up and saying, "I'm not going for Swansea because he don't want to be in contention with no one else. He wants to be able to."
Look, he's won a league title. Craig should stay. If Craig wants to go for it, he should go for it. He's still won a league title.
Who else applied for Swansea then?
I think he changed.
Chesterfield has just recently applied for Swansea.
I think
I keep up. TFF is just ever changing,
It's
isn't
mad,
it?
isn't it? People pulling out and all the rest of it.
Can we just say though one thing? Everyone was mentioning earlier, if it was on this video as well, about Manchester United.
About Manchester United.
Manchester United's average rating is less than Manchester City's, and their value is only give or take 15 million more than them.
Yeah, that's not too surprising because City start off as the strongest team. Like City and Chelsea, Man U are quite a bit behind, but Kev's done decent with his squad building. So slowly he would have caught City. There still won't be much between them though. If City got in a decent manager, it wouldn't take long to put them right back up there challenging again. Because look at their starting lineup. Their starting lineup's still fantastic. That's all 94s, 93s.
Yeah,
it's a great team.
Yeah, I looked at the 11s. Arsenal and Chelsea have got excellent 11s. Man United's 11 is ridiculous now. So they're all very strong.
Arguably, any one of them could win it. I mean, it'd be impossible to pick one. I mean, it could be any one. Definitely three. You've got Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool. I mean, any one of them three could win it.
Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. Yeah, I can agree with that one. But has anyone weighed up the options that Everton are coming through quite nicely as well with their players now?
I still think they're a bit behind though.
Yeah.
If they finish top four,
I see there being a big four in TFF right now, in terms of stature.
In terms of stature, Chelsea's ahead of the pack.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Their value is over near enough 30 million more than any other team.
But I think in terms of the best managers tactically, I think Johnny McKenna is probably ahead of all three of them.
And when it comes down to players on the day, I'll probably say Ben Clifford's got it all day long at Arsenal.
Ben's good at what, Hammer?
When it comes down to the right players, he's got Neymar, he's got Messi, he's got Cruz. I think generally Ben has the strongest team. But
how many times has he chopped and changed his squad?
I think if you look into the future as well, Ben's got the strongest team because he's got some great youngsters and all that. But the here and now, I wouldn't say Ben's got the best one. I personally think Chelsea's lineup's just a bit stronger.
There's not a lot in it. I mean, Chelsea beat Arsenal in the cup final. Arsenal beat Chelsea in the SM. So, Tim Pot's easier to say. But they beat each other in one-off games, and I think they're very even. Those two managers and those two clubs. There's not a lot.
And how about Watford, guys? Anyone want to predict how Watford's going to do?
Well,
What about
I think
Watford?
Noisy's overachieved.
Ramos, Modric, and Cavani as these top 3 players.
But again, obviously,
It's going to be difficult to repeat that.
There will be a time where Watford hit their peak.
Yeah.
Has that already just happened?
Yeah, so you can't really take it further, can you?
So then surely, if Craig was to step down as City manager, then surely the first contention would be Watford and Noisy saying, bro, I finished top 4. He deserves the job. Out of everyone that I'm looking at right now, he's just done the unthinkable with Watford. Yeah. Now, bearing in mind, the unthinkable was what Leicester had done in real world terms. But on the terms of this game alone for TFF, Watford finishing top 4 in the second season, from what we had in the first season, from how the whole league run away and Watford really won about it, now in the second season they're finishing top 4. Their manager's brought in 3 of the best players in the world. Generally, I say bravo to him. He's doing an absolutely great job, and generally I think if he comes up for any one of the big jobs, I personally would be on the bandwagon voting for him.
Let's not do a disservice to other good managers as well that should be on the shortlist, like Mark at Gin and that sort of thing. I don't want to do a disservice to other good managers.
I mean, like Yusuf at Wigan, he deserves a big job. Don't get it wrong. He's done a decent job at Wigan. For what he's done there, he's building quite a decent team there. I mean, you could say, obviously, Jay Jones before he got Tottenham, he deserved a big job for what he was doing at Sunderland. And now look, Sunderland are in Division 2. He went from Sunderland fighting for top 4, the season later they're in Division 2.
Just showed what a great job he was doing.
Exactly, it shows how good the manager is. So when you're seeing a cream of a crop manager doing the unthinkable with a team like Watford, it's got to be noticeable straight away. You've got to stop thinking, oh yeah, this manager, that manager, this. You right now got to look at the best manager on the day, and right now he's arguably the best manager that's available if a team comes up.
So in that aspect, should we be putting Sean at Wimbledon up for this job then as well?
Exactly. When you're going on the aspects of managers that are achieving stuff, you've got to look at what they're doing.
Yeah, not Sean at Wimbledon though.
Yeah, I was talking about his whole work.
I'm on about teams that are doing stuff. So, okay, right. So if a team gets promoted 2 seasons on the bounce and their manager goes for the job, and then I've got another manager on the left that has just finished top 4, 2 seasons on the bounce, with a team that is arguably a team that should be finishing 12th, 13th, am I going to vote for the manager that's just got back-to-back promotions and come out of 2 leagues where arguably it's going to be a lot harder because you've got to get reused to the whole league again? Or am I going to vote for the manager that's sat there and he's only had to work off of 1 league the whole time? Probably would vote off the manager that's come up through the promotion-wise, but generally I think the top 4 manager should be the one that everyone looks at. But everyone's always going to look for the guy that's achieving more because he's coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, today I said to Richie actually on Facebook, if the Manchester City job comes up, there's 3 names in my mind that I would automatically go for, and they would be Noisy, Mark Stewart at Gillingham, and Andrew Achilles at Orient. I think those 3 names would be even with a shout. And out of those 3 names, I can't separate them. And then I thought about it a bit more, and I thought, well, I would give it to Noisy because Noisy has proved himself in Division 1. And that would be my reasoning. And so he would go to Manchester City if he wanted the job, and if the job came about, it's all hypothetical. And then that would free up Watford. That would free up Watford, and I would think someone like Andrew or Mark Stewart for Watford would be a good shout.
Yeah, I would throw Gareth Crystal Palace in the mix as well.
For Man City, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, not for what I couldn't see him leaving Palace for Watford.
He wouldn't leave Palace for Watford, but for Man City, I think he's done an incredible job himself.
He has. He has.
I'll hold you
but
there.
no, I think Noisy would be the outstanding candidate for me.
Yeah.
And the fact that it would open up Watford then for someone else to step up makes it even better.
Yeah. And it would open up Watford for, i.e. your suggestion, Gillingham's manager to then step up to the bigger league and prove that he can do it. So then if a team comes up, he could then do it exactly the same way you've done it.
This is like recently, Kristaps went Northampton to Norwich. For me, that was a nice, logical jump.
Kristaps?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kristaps deserved his move.
I mean, in real life, you're not going to go Northampton to Manchester City. But Northampton to Norwich, possibly.
Yeah. think Kristaps could make another jump as well if a bigger club came free in the future as well.
We talk
I
about
think
managers hard to beat. Kristaps is one of the hardest.
Yeah,
He's have a tough game when I play him.
he's
The
a very
fact he won the league over Sheffield United says that he's doing something right because Sheffield United had a really good team.
Yeah, and I said it last week. He does well in all the game modes that I've seen him in. So he's tactically sound.
he's a very good man.
Keith's another one who's hard to beat.
Well, he only lost one game all season, didn't he? So
Yeah.
He's going to hard to step up in Division 2 now with his squad.
Who do we think is going to get relegated in Division 1?
Wigan would surely have to struggle. If he keeps Wigan up, he should get manager of the season.
You say that, Richie. I think they've got a really good manager right now in Yusuf.
Aston Villa.
Villa have got a really good team. Check Villa's team. It's like there's a lot of old boys in there, but they're high rating. He's actually got a really good team there.
But
If won't get relegated, I expect Villa to be mid-table.
I think Villa might.
Let me have a look. Hold up. Let me have a look.
But Richie, I'm not convinced Wigan will go down because I rate Yusuf.
West Brom.
Yeah, but Doc's a good manager that was at Brentford. You need the players.
It was totally different. Doc went for a youth route. He kind of gave up before he started. He was like, I'm planning long term. But Yusuf has bought.
You're saying West Brom, but West Brom also have Luis Suarez, Iniesta. They have more players than Wigan and who was the other one you just called? Wigan and Aston Villa. They have more players than both of them. They have a higher rated player base in. Whether it be a good manager or not, on your day you can have stock tactics.
Well, I'm saying it now. I think Yusuf will keep Wigan up.
Yeah.
I think Wigan will stay up. I think Leeds.
I thought they would win Division 2.
I'm being totally fair.
True.
I'm looking at the table now, and this is probably going to be the hardest thing I have to do.
Let's have it
My
right.
go down right now.
Yusuf came into TFF in Season 2, in Division 2, the hardest division in my opinion in the game world, and took over Wigan, who were overachieving under Richie and then Nick Ford. They were already top of the league. It wasn't a very nice job to take because they're at top of Division 2 and you think the only way is down. Not many people would have liked that job. Yusuf took them, kept them there, again, and that was a graveyard, that division. So I think Yusuf proved his credentials and has got something about him. I think Wigan will stay up in Division 1.
Yeah. I think Leeds will be near the bottom. West Brom, then I can't call any. I don't know. I can't call a third one. Possibly Bournemouth.
Possibly West Ham.
It's going to be hard.
West Ham.
No.
West Ham with a 22-man squad. We're on about the same West Ham, yeah?
No,
I didn't say West Ham. I thought someone else said West Ham. I think West Ham will be all right. I think they'll definitely won't get relegated. That's for sure.
You might have heard West Brom.
Rating reviews coming up. Their players will go up again, so West Ham will definitely be all right.
No, West Ham will be fine. West Brom, though.
No.
Cola Bottle will be all right as well. He's got a really high-rated squad there. The investment.
He had a high-rated squad in the other game, in the other seasons, but he's always fought relegate. Hello?
Hello.
We're here.
Okay, I can't see you, but I'll carry on. Yeah, but he had a high-rated team in the other seasons, but he's not a very good tactical manager at all.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, he needed help. He needed help in the last 2 seasons, I believe, with his tactics, and that is the only reason why he stayed up last season. Because if he carried on with his own tactics, he would have gone down.
I don't know if you guys remember the first season when we just started and his team, he had like 6 or 7 players that were decent, like 89 plus.
The rest
he had like a load of 60s.
35-year-olds.
His team were all unfit. He never had any team for the cup or anything. He wasn't even active. For about the first half of the season, he wasn't even logging in. He was logging in like once a week.
He was as inactive as the Middlesbrough manager in the first season. I kept really close tabs on West Brom in the first season. He was one of the managers I used to shout out, and especially the Middlesbrough as well in the first season.
But no, I don't see West Brom staying up next season, even with Luis Suarez in their team.
He'll probably end up selling Suarez anyway.
Yeah, he probably will end up cashing in on Suarez. I see him maybe keeping Iniesta because really, is it worth selling Iniesta for now? He's only going to drop down in value by the time he gets to sell him anyway.
Okay, lads, I want to move on to a couple of issues raised in the newsfeed. The first one is Dario, who raised the issue of loans. What are your thoughts on that? Should there be some sort of rule implemented that you can't loan to certain divisions, or you can only loan one player to one club, or where do you boys stand on that?
Oh, it's a difficult one because in real life, there is top Division 1 clubs loaning to Division 1 teams, but obviously you can't exactly mirror real life completely. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't have Division 1 teams loaning in at all to other Division 1 teams. 2, 3, and 4, absolutely fine, and you can choose whatever club you want. Bar that, I don't think there should be a restriction on any sort of loan restriction on what teams you can or can't loan to. But I wouldn't loan if I was a Division 1 team. I wouldn't loan to another Division 1 team. Yeah.
First of all, my implement on the whole loan system. If I'm correct, the loan system right now is still running on the same rules that it's been running on since season 1, which would be if you loan in a player and you've both agreed for it to be a season, the players can't be returned, and they can only be returned if both managers agree also for the players to be returned, if that's correct. So then, if a manager's already agreed, per se, the season before to loan, say, last season, I was at Nottingham Forest, I had Niang, the Man City striker, up front for the end of the season. If I had agreed per se to then bring him in the next season, but I had then got promoted to Division 1, that's then loaning an 88 to a Division 1 team. Do you get where I'm coming from with that one, Dom?
But then also just overrule that, surely.
Deals, providing, this is where it comes down to managers getting on with each other and managers talking to each other and interacting with each other as well. The more you interact with a manager that's at a higher club, the more chance you got on the day of them going, yeah, there's a loan there, they're going to look at you first.
Yeah, Ham, I want to say something about that. On the one hand, there's managers that are not interactive and they're a bit quiet in TFF, and so they're probably at a disadvantage. But on the other hand, I think, well, so what? That's their fault. The TFF is not any old game world. It's not an ordinary game world. And I've tried to remind quite a few people in this game world that TFF isn't just any other game world and shouldn't be compared to any other game world. It's an interactive, social interactive game world with the emphasis on people doing a bit more than just picking their team. And slowly but surely we're getting there. But it's, if you are in the Facebook group or you are about, you're going to probably be better off because you're going to make acquaintances and you're going to get some deals, and it goes on. Deals are done all the time via Facebook.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're not active and you miss out because you miss out, that's tough. That is absolutely tough. You have to be in it to win it, sort of thing.
I've extended the welcome to everybody in regards to the panel show in the Facebook group. And actually, the Facebook group, the big one, I'm not even in it now, but you could still be on Facebook and make a few friends. It doesn't have to be in your face.
We could be one of us. All you got to do is talk to one of us, and there you go.
James isn't in the Facebook group, but I chat to him every now and then.
You can do it in the news feed on Soccer Manager as well. I mean, look at Mark at Newcastle. I mean, he's not in the Facebook group or anything, but he's a top lad. Everyone gets on with him.
But yeah.
But he only comments on the news feed on Soccer Manager. But I mean, he's a good lad. Everyone gets on with him. So you can do it that way as well.
Yeah, no, Mark's very active, and I mean, Mark's a funny one because he's got himself in all sorts of trouble in the last couple of years, but the way the TFF has gone now, Mark's one of the better behaved people in TFF, but he's one of the guys, as you say, Richie. He's not in the Facebook group. Glenn's pretty active. Glenn started a thread the other day which went on and on in response to the panel show. So even though some guys are not in the Facebook group, they watch this panel show. For me, that's good. That's good. At least.
Yeah, definitely.
If people are putting effort into the panel show and then people respond by watching it, I think, well, that's brilliant. That makes it all worthwhile. And
that was the whole reason we set it up in the first place, for all of us to be able to interact with each other.
Yeah.
On something else than just on the news feed in the game world, like every other game world. Yeah. This is something that stands out that everyone sees that plays Soccer Manager. That when they hear about it, everyone goes. Well, I get messages near enough at least 3 times a week from people going, "Is there any space in TFF? I've seen your panel shows. I've seen your Hammer TV." I generally do. I could pull them up right now and read some of them, but obviously I don't add names of people that ain't in the game world yet.
Yeah, because I was wondering about Hammer, because there's people in TFF that don't even know about a panel show, like the Millwall boss today, he's never heard of it, and there's still others. But we're getting over 100 views, so I'm not sure how it works. There must be.
I think people can view it twice, though. You know, if you watch it like one day and you watch it another day, I think that counts as 2 views.
I wasn't sure if that was the case, Richie.
If you're logged in, into your account once you've viewed it once, it won't show up again. If you're logged into not logged into account and you view it more than once, it will show up every time you view it.
Ah, okay.
So someone's obviously watching them back, just watching themselves. My money would be on Rob.
No, I watch it once to make sure it goes through, and that's it. But all I know is we've got 35 subscribers. So on that logic, we've at least got 35 people watching. That's what I know.
The trouble is with the panel show and the activeness on the news feed and Facebook groups and that sort of thing. It just seems to me to be the top 2. Most of them. There's obviously 3, not so much 4, but the top 2 divisions are incredibly active. Division 1 especially.
Yeah.
There's not so many inactive, if any, actually. But
and weirdly, Dom, Division 4 is now looking very active. The funny one's Division 3. There's quite a few inactives in there. Well, not inactives, but very quiet managers that I don't know anything.
I thought Division 4 was quite inactive.
But it's been a lot of changes, Dom.
I know, since all the changes, Division 4 looks quite a tempting little league. I mean, Division 3 did look quiet up until they...
Here we go, lads. I just want to read this out because I actually did a bit of research. This is a hello to anyone who is watching who's new, and it's I've got Alex Hancock at Coventry, Alan Laver at Northampton, Gerard at Rochdale, Gerard I speak to on Facebook. Gerard lives in... where's he live? Somewhere exotic, somewhere lovely. Phil Walters is at... who's he taking? Phil Walters. He's taking... I can't read my own bloody writing. But he's real life mates with Mark Stewart. Sound lad.
He's Charlton, isn't he? I think he's Charlton.
Charlton, alright. Oh, I thought that was Johnny O'Connor is at Charlton.
No, Johnny O'Connor's Charlton.
They're the 5 new managers. Alan Lavers, Gerald, Phil Walters, Johnny O'Connor and Alex Hancock. And I can't read my own writing. But
big welcome. One of them.
Of those 5, I know that Johnny, Phil and Gerald have expressed interest in coming on the panel show. And I've spoke to 2 of them on Facebook. I don't know anything about Alex Hancock or Alan Lavers, so welcome. Good luck if you do watch this. Do any of you know those 2 guys?
No.
What teams are they?
Well, someone knows them because they got in.
No.
Never even heard of them.
Never heard of them.
Okay. So let's see. Well, I'll perhaps drop them a little message at some point. Welcome to the fold.
Welcome to the jungle.
So that was the loans. What else? What other burning issues in TFF? Anything else anyone wants to mention?
I can't even remember.
Not really.
It's been a lot's been going on. It's just sort of...
congratulations to Philip, who's taken Nottingham Forest. Lewis has gone to Scunthorpe, and
well, you already covered me.
Hammer, you're going to Port Vale. There was a bit of argy-bargy with the voting last night in the Facebook group, and then unfortunately, and it is always unfortunate when things in the Facebook group are then repeated back in the news feed, but there you go. But there was the problem was, I think, block voting was mentioned, so people influencing, manipulating votes. I always feel like I'm one of these people being accused, so I try and have transparency. I voted Daniel initially because Daniel has been at Walsall 2 seasons, and I tried recently to get to another club and got shut down. Not shut down, but told he couldn't. And I just felt 2 years he served his apprenticeship, and that was a decent move. There wasn't And at that time, Lewis hadn't applied. And then as the votes were going, Daniel wasn't anywhere near it. It was between Lewis and Philip, and I felt out of the two, Lewis was the better candidate for Forest. That being said, Philip.
Well, I felt Lewis was the best one because it would have freed up Swansea. I mean, that's a good job for someone for the lower divisions. I mean, Scunthorpe, let's be honest, was a heap of shit. I mean, who's going to want to come in from the outside and manage them? Yeah. So I thought at least if we free up Swansea, it will give someone from the
it'll give a manager to say, well, look, Swansea was in the Premier League when they first started. Second season, they didn't get back in the Premier League. Now was a chance for me to come in, set up a new team, get them back to where they was, and build on there. It's a brilliant chance for any manager.
Because I think you got a bit of grief, didn't you?
Yeah, I was obviously I was very honest in terms of that all three candidates were not very good at all. Actually, all three of them were pretty crap. And the only reason, and I was very honest, is that the only reason I voted Lewis is just because out of the two teams, who are you going to want to manage? The Swansea team or the shower shite that was at Scunthorpe? Who's going to...
So, here's the thing. Philip, I'm not going to get personal with Philip, even though he abused me in the Facebook group. I'll refrain from using the panel show to get back at him. So I'll keep this professional, and I'll just stick to facts rather than make any personal attack on Philip. Season 1, Scunthorpe relegated quite with, I think, a few games to spare. It was an awful season. Season 2, probably you're looking to get back up. Depending on what type of manager you are. If you're going down a youth route, then fair enough. But he's not. His team is just jam-packed full of old crap.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, his squad skills are like -1.
Now, if you're going to pack your team full of old crap, fine. Because Orient do it and Wimbledon do it, but they're getting results. But if you're going to get relegated, then fail to get promoted with a team full of old crap, why are you so entitled to go for another job? And why are so many people voting for that person? Now, in my head, some people are voting for him because they are friends with him, and some people are voting for him because they saw that he came third last year in the league table and think that's good. The reality is different. And if you, as I'm speaking now, some people will be angry that I'm making this point, but I'm speaking in facts. In my opinion, he hasn't done a very good job, and now, because of his poor squad building, he's actually left Scunthorpe. As you say, Richie, it's a heap of shit. And that's going to take a long while to clean up. And not only has he left a heap of shit, but he's taken the club backwards. They started in 3, they're now in 4. They've gone backwards. And they've gone backwards in every single way possible. So, how he's got the Nottingham Forest job is beyond me. But he won it. He won it. And it's a democracy, and I respect that. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
But the trouble is, you bring me onto a point earlier. You mentioned that, and I also, and don't get me wrong, I actually like the guy. He's funny and everything else, but he's not done a great job in terms of squad building. He's been there for ages. He's done. Dan Anderson at Warsaw.
I'm about to be leaving now, G. The phone's all charged, and that's I'm leaving now, bro.
I just think a lot of the time people are rewarding longevity.
But what was that? It was Daniel or Philip. That was your choice. Until Lewis then entered, that was your choice. So I went for Daniel.
I'd rather not vote, to be fair.
Well, when it was out of the two of them, I actually went for Philip. The reason being, Daniel's got money.
Where is he?
And he's not spending it. I just thought that was a bit strange. I mean,
who is it?
The team's cat piss. And he's not spending it. Why not?
But the trouble is, these people saying that lower league managers, if they're in it for the long haul longevity, they should be rewarded. But what if you haven't actually done anything? A lot of these Division 4 teams, especially, are really poor in terms of their squad value, their ratings. Going for older players all the time, and when you're doing that all the time, and you're not progressing, it just makes the gap between Division 4 and Division 3 a lot bigger. Then obviously the gap just keeps rising.
The gap will get bigger, and I think there is a responsibility for the lower clubs to think about it, and not just be packing their teams out with old crap. It's not just Philip. There's loads of them like it.
Method. I can't stand it because then obviously.
Dom, each to their own, but my agenda is always the health of the game world, the benefit of the game world. And another thing, leaving teams in a poor mess for someone else to clear up, that doesn't help the game world. And then someone else will come in. Okay, Lewis has taken Scunthorpe. Imagine Lewis hadn't taken Scunthorpe and it was an external manager inherits that. How long are they realistically going to stay in the game world before they think, nah, this is crap? What can I do with this pile of shite?
The trouble is, there's not just Scunthorpe. There's too many teams like
loads. We're using Scunthorpe as the example, but there's lots. There's lots of teams.
I wouldn't reward Division 4, Division 3 managers or whatever.
But I think managers have got to use their heads, right? You're saying, you've gone for Forest, we'll vote you. Well, why? You've got relegated. You've done a poor job in squad building, and anybody who disputes that is off their rocker because it's indisputable. They're a very ugly team, and one person's responsible for that.
You have to be successful in something. If it's tactical wise, if it's you're increasing the squad value, you have to be successful. So, and if you're shite in every single aspect of the management, you shouldn't be rewarded. You shouldn't get.
No. So if Philip walks into a Nottingham Forest job in Division 2, definitely doesn't deserve it. He's failed in the 2 seasons. He got relegated and then failed to go up. He's failed his 2 objectives, and we've given him a Division 2 job.
Yeah.
So TFF, have a word with yourself. That's my opinion on it. I'm all about, and then because I get a comment from another well-respected manager who voted for Philip and made the point in the newsfeed. Well, Rob, you're always banging on about rewarding lower league managers. No, I'm not. I'm about rewarding performing managers. Nothing about rewarding lower league managers. Just want to change those words because it's amazing how things can get taken out of context. So that's my little rant for the week over. I'm trying to be a good boy this week.
Yeah, I can't add any more to that.
I had to cut off Hammer because he was starting to take personal phone calls, so we can't have that. You still with us, Richie?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
What do you think? Did what I say make any sense?
Oh yeah, no, you made a lot of good points. It was just a shame with Nottingham Forest that the 2 people that were in the running for it in the end up were both pretty poor, weren't they? So someone poor was going to get the job. I mean, it would have been better if someone decent came in and had actually done a good job in Division 2 or Division 3. But then again, Forest isn't exactly an appealing job, is it? I mean, it's not a great job. I can see why people want to go for it.
I honestly think Philip will struggle with it, and not a knock at Philip, but Division 2 is a very hard league, and I don't think Forest has been left in a great situation.
And put it this way: if you're looking at the future, I mean, you've got the reviews coming up. They haven't really got anyone that's getting you excited, have they? If anything, they've got a few that are going to go down, so they're only going to get weaker.
To be fair, previous management of Forest weren't very good either, so they've sort of.
Well, they've had 2 shit managers, haven't they? They've been a bit unlucky.
I was trying to be polite about it.
I don't think Cam was a shit manager.
No, Cam was decent, but he was just desperate for promotion, so he went really, really old towards the end.
I've always said this. If you are going to go down the oldie high-rated road, that's fine. But you've got to get promoted.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't get promoted, you're in trouble. Orient and Wimbledon got promoted, and so can justify it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot braver going down the other route. To be honest.
Well, you need a lot more patience and all the rest of it.
And you need to scout these players and risers and use the market really well.
I think doing a bit of both's good. Mixing it up. Oldies are all right as long as they're safe oldies. You know what I mean? They're playing in real life and stuff. You don't want to get these oldies that are just never playing, just going to drop down in rating. I mean, there's a lot of oldies out there that get game time to some of the stars in world football. I mean, they're all right. Look at Watford. Look what Moisey done at Watford. He signed a lot of oldies, but they're world-class players.
That's right. There's a bit of a snobbery in SM and TFF about buying old players. We've got a lot of managers that purely go down a youth route, and there's a bit of snobbery, but sometimes buying a certain player of a certain age is an intelligent signing if he's playing week in, week out. For example, someone like James Milner would be a very good signing for most teams. He would keep his rating.
I'm very much going down the youth route, but I can't really argue having a couple of experienced players. Hell, I've got Andrews and Company and Prieto, players that will keep their rating, doing really well for good clubs.
Yeah,
But
just to give yourselves a balance.
yeah.
Well, lads, I just want to say one thing. The last panel show, I was quite harsh on Ben. I'd stand by most of it because I do think the SMFA Cup is a tin pot cup. The Al Capone reference was a bit cheeky and a bit of a joke, but one thing is Ben does a lot of good for the TFF. He's a great guy. I know he called me lots of names in the newsfeed, but we've kissed and made up. He is a good guy. The blogs he does are good, and I think I went a bit too far, so I want to apologise to Ben on the panel show. It's not easy doing this panel show. I don't have any media skills or anything like that. I'm not a perfect human being. I don't want to get the violins out, but I have lots of flaws. I just come on and I be myself, and you're doing it with there's no rehearsals. It's just bang. And sometimes I get things wrong. If I'm doing this, you think I'd get better the more I do it, but sometimes I get things wrong. There was a subject that was quite raw, and perhaps I'll speak to Nick Justice later about it, but I disagreed fundamentally with a couple of things he said, and Ben got caught up in that, I'm afraid, and that was it, really. But one thing I will say is, despite one or two people that don't like me and all the rest of it, and I get deleted off Facebook quite a lot by different people because when I upset them on here, I don't honestly hold grudges against anybody, and I mean that. This is pantomime, it's a game, it's not real life, but I can't do these things by being anyone other than myself, and I can't do these things unless I'm authentic, and I can't do these things just praising everybody and being nicey nice. It's just not me, but I will acknowledge when I've gone too far, and I think I went a bit too far with Ben last week, so apology to Ben. That's all I got for this week. You two want to add anything?
You remember that we've all got our own personalities and everything else, and it just comes across differently. Now, there'll be people that don't like Richie because he's
like who?
my bastard, but
No, exactly. Sometimes people are going to clash. It's part of life, but as long as we can all kiss and make up at the end of it, it's part of. Doesn't matter, does it?
that's fair enough. Then you won't be liked by everybody.
No,
I think there's a
definitely
lot of strong characters. You, Richie, Ben, Lewis. Yeah, and when you have
Philip
strong
as well.
characters like that.
No, Philip doesn't like me very much.
But he's a strong character. He's a very strong character.
Who is Philip?
I hope Philip's a bit more active now. Now that he's got Nottingham Forest, I'd like to see Philip a bit more on the newsfeed.
If Philip does well at Nottingham Forest, I'll be praising him. Even though he called me a muppet and all the rest of it, I'll try and be impartial.
You'll be more.
Same for one or two other little daffodils that have deleted me on Facebook because I upset them. Praise will come to those doing well. We've got to be fair, haven't we? I mean, Glenn's a good example. I gave Glenn loads of sticks season 1, but he's a good lad and he watches the panel shows and he just took it. Season 2, I voted him manager of the year.
Yeah, he's
done great.
I remember
he had a really bad start as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
I remember he had a really bad start, and he just because when I left, he wasn't near the top of the league when I left, and I think that was about 10 games in.
Yeah,
I remember the show with Noisy, and me and Noisy were picking up his tactics, and I remember because he was using a 4-3, a 4-1-2 something. Noisy really sort of criticised him for his bad tactics, but he's really sort of improved a lot since then. I can't remember when that was at all, but I remember
Ben's tactics.
Hello?
Probably when he copied Ben's tactics. That's when he started winning.
Oh, don't start that again. You're gonna have Ben going on about this again when this comes out.
One thing I did sort of realise, maybe a year too late, but I realised a lot of people are quite sensitive and really take things to heart sometimes. And I'm not very sensitive, as in real life. I'm not very tactful. I'm the worst person to be running these bloody shows. But so, aside from the fact you've got people that are sensitive, you've got. I don't want to mention names or anything, but there are people with real life issues going on, and we forget sometimes.
I think most people that play this game have some sort of real life issues now.
Yeah.
Just separating yourself from the game.
Because this is escapism, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's escapism. So you don't want to. I get that you don't want to log on and just have people criticising you all the time. That's not nice. I get that. So I do understand. I hope that most people in the main find these panel shows more good things about them than not. But I got a bit of criticism in the newsfeed via private messages and all the rest of it. But that's fine. I'm thick-skinned. I can take it. No problem.
The amount of managers that get stick, certain managers, you'd be a nervous wreck if you take everything to heart.
But I think we echo real life in some way. We're trying to make the game as realistic as we can, and football management is a fraught industry, isn't it? It's
brutal, absolutely brutal.
And as I've always maintained, and I had a discussion with Thumbs today in the newsfeed, and we plainly disagree on just about everything. He sees things very differently to me, but I honestly feel that if you're a manager of a top club, I'm talking about the big clubs now, in a big game world, then you are going to be under more scrutiny, and I've said that quite a few times, and I stand by it.
Yeah, it's only right as well. I mean, that's how it should be. If you're at a big club and you're doing bad, you shouldn't be given a free ride.
But certain people don't see it like that, and certain people don't appreciate that. But if you make the choice, I'm going to take that big club, then I think you've got to take what comes with it.
Yes, it's a luxury. It's a privilege to have a big club. You've got to take the rough with the smooth.
Yep. And I don't see it as a club belongs to a manager. In real life, they're a custodian of that club until someone else comes along. I don't think anyone has a divine right to stay at any club. I don't. And so when managers say that they're going to stay at their club no matter what, that pisses me off. And that's it.
But there is a few points to say to that. No, obviously there is. Obviously, in every division, so all 4 divisions, certain managers are going to be under most pressure. So in Division 1...
Division 1, Dom, is where it really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but every manager, all the top managers, all the top teams in every division are going to be under the most pressure. But I know what you mean.
Yeah. You expect Wolves to be going up. You expected Sheffield United to go up. You expect Reading to go up this season. There is that, but when we're talking about mega bigger clubs, they're going to get even more pressure or stress, and that's it really. And I suppose as long as we don't get personal, and if it does get personal, then you've got to hold your hands up sometimes and say that's not right. But there has to be. We can't just come in here and all say nice things about each other. Who's going to want to watch that?
No, yeah, exactly. I think in terms of the top 4, top 5 in Division 1. You are going to be under that burden. If it's only one out of that lot that probably has a little bit of time, is Jay Jones at Tottenham.
Yeah, I'll give him another. Not that it's down to me. I'm not God, but in my mind, I'd give him another season, get fit. I would
probably give him another 2 actually, because obviously for him to sort of get Spurs back up to. Probably not even 2 seasons, but Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Season, Dom. They get good crowds, Spurs.
The thing about Jay as well, if he does bad or he thinks he's doing bad, he'll walk away and he'll take a Division 4 club. That wouldn't bother him one bit. I've seen him leave big clubs and go to small clubs all the time. It wouldn't bother him.
And we've got loads of managers like that. Ben would do it. I'm sure he would.
To be honest, I think most of them would. I think most of the managers would. There's probably 1 or 2 that wouldn't.
Glenn would, Johnny would. I have, and I would, 100%. You would, Richie. Lewis has. Hammer has. Got to be fair, Hammer. Craig's. Why would managers kick their heels in and say no, and then say, and then they get.
Well, the The only thing I can think of is if you've got a team of 90 plus and you've got all the star players, you don't really want to lose that. You don't want to take a step backwards and go to Division 4 and say, for example, end up with Scunthorpe. You know,
I get that they don't want to, Richie, but of course they don't want to. But
there was selfishness, isn't it? Some people are selfish.
Well, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? And then those very people say, "Oh, I've had selfishness banded at me for." Yeah, yes, it is selfishness. It is. And
To be fair, even I have to admit, I would find it, even though I probably would, I would find it very difficult to leave Hull. I would find it really difficult because obviously I put a lot of time and effort into building the team, especially from.
if you don't take them up within a couple of seasons, though, I think questions will be asked them.
I have to admit that I've got to hit the playoffs at least. I'm expected to win. I'm expecting myself to win the division next season.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. If Ali don't go up with Reading this year, I'm going to be on him. And anyone who's seen the statistics today will see their squad value is just ridiculous. They could be held in their own in Division 1 on that squad value alone.
If you look throughout all the divisions, Reading are the most dominant in their division, if you know what I mean. So the biggest club in their division is Reading by far. There's no one even touching them.
Yeah.
And then people make the argument, well, squad value doesn't matter. It's to do with ratings. So Ali makes that argument himself. He does have a point in a way, but squad value
that doesn't directly affect results on that given day and results. But what that means is that value gives you that greater capacity to go out and trade and do things.
It's like your resources. It's what you've got to work with. So obviously, having a high squad value, what to do with it, business.
If you have a high squad value, then that's a legitimate reason to expect you to do well.
Yeah, I suppose you could sell players and manoeuvre around a lot more.
No, look, people will always find angles to try and take the pressure away from them. I do it myself, and I can see it a mile off because I know Ali, and I'm not picking on Ali because others do it as well. I do it. You want to play things down. We all do, of course we do, but you can't fool people, and it is what it is. What James posted today was like shining a torch on things, Ed.
And I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I had to double check it. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That posted today, even though it was brilliant, it didn't do me personally any bloody favours.
No, but then that's what James wasn't out there to do anyone any favours. He was just presenting facts, and it's very interesting.
It was fantastic what he'd done. It was really enlightening.
Yeah, I really liked it. To be fair, it was such a.
People not on Facebook are missing out on all these good things that go on. It's not all bad.
No, James is one of the better posters as well.
Yeah,
in my opinion, if not the best. Just what he puts down, what he posts is just absolutely brilliant, and I think he'll continue to do that as well.
Right, lads, we've waffled on like a load of old women. Let's get you both back on halfway through the season, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll try and get my camera working by then. I don't know what's going on with this Skype.
Yeah, I mean, we did see you very briefly, Richie, but hopefully, I just hope that this, always say this, don't I? I hope this comes out. Hammer was on. I thought Hammer was pretty good tonight. He made some good points, to be fair.
Yeah.
Shame he had to then make a phone call, but that's Hammer for you. We all know what he's like. So I'm just going to say this. I did say, obviously there was a bit of a situation that I wasn't happy with things in TFF. I've gone away, had a think about it. There's a lot of people that enjoy these panel shows, and I want to keep them going. While people enjoy them, I'll keep them going, and I plan on doing 2 a month, like fortnightly. But there is another game world that I want to give my all to as well, and I'm really into it now, and it's called MYT, and I want to give that one a month at least, on separate channels. But I will keep these going whilst the interest is still there. We'll keep them going.
Just make sure you have interesting characters.
I mean, I'm always interested when everyone comes on. Sometimes some people are a bit nervous and maybe are not so relaxed, but I think the more you come on, the easier it gets.
It's always nice to get new people on as well, isn't it?
I think so.
You just get to know people, then you get to know who's managing the club, stuff like that.
I think if people are honest, people watching these shows, when they see a new person, they're that little bit more interested, aren't they? You want to see what they look like, you want to see what they sound like, you want to see who they are.
Yeah.
Like someone like Furt was nothing like what I thought he would be like.
No, exactly.
And a really lovely guy. I never thought he would be like that at all.
Very good manager as well.
Very good manager.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. Furt, unfortunately, Furt's such a nice guy and doesn't really cause any problems and can go under the radar. But he's done a good job at Leicester in his 2 years. They're building a nice team there.
Yeah, he definitely is. One to watch out for. Future looking very good for him.
He got beat by Noisy in the Shield final, wasn't it? The SMFA one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 10 top.
Right then, lads, that's it. We'll cut this off, and I'll try and bring one. Let's give it a couple of weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. Let's get TFF into the groove, the rhythm. Get a few matches out of the way, and maybe 1 or 2 talking points will come up in the next few weeks.
Oh yeah, you can count on that. It's TFF after all. And there'll be about 100 talking points.
Yeah. I keep thinking we're going to run out of things to say, but the news feed's ridiculous.
Is Ford has a really bad start. That's the only thing that I hope for. Ford has a really bad start, and he starts to crack. I could see that happening as well. But really, what's that?
All right, before you go, I can't remember. Tell me your Division 1 champions before we go.
Liverpool.
I'm going to go with Chelsea again.
By the way, I think Man U will be in the top 4 this season. And I do think Kev will crack that top 4. They've got a very good team. But I'm going to go Arsenal, Ben.
Right, fair enough.
But I think it will be those 4. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man U in some order. I can't see any other situation than those top 4 this year.
Well, now Craig's staying at City. That helps Kev out a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I still don't think City will get near the top 4.
No,
they won't.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with City. I'm not sure, so it's hard to say. So at this point in time, for me, they're the 4 healthiest clubs in Division 1, the strongest. And Watford, if they become top 6, top 7, they've done amazing. To be honest,
I think they'll get top 6 quite easy. They've still got a really good team there. A lot of high rated.
Yeah.
They'll be all right, Watford.
I still think one of those 4 will drop out. I still don't think it will be those 4. I don't know.
Who can drop out? They're all excellent.
Well, the one that springs to mind is Man United. If obviously.
Yeah, but things have to change. I can't see them failing a 3rd season. I do think they will do it this year.
But you have to have evidence to show that would change. And
well, let's see how the first few results go. If Man United get off to a flyer, I think they'll stay in and around the top 2 or 3.
I think that's what they need. They need a really good start. I think the last 2 seasons have started shit. I mean, they need a good start. If they have a good start, then you never know. If they start bad, then I'll write them off.
I'll tell you what, if Man United start winning, I'll be praising Kev. And I think that'll be unusual for people to hear. And
that just wouldn't sound right.
No.
But
done enough.
In the 2 seasons we've had TFF, they've underperformed. And that's what I've gone on.
Yeah. Because he is a good manager, to be fair.
He is a good manager.
But he's just not done it in TFF at the moment.
Kev is not a shit manager. No one's ever said that. He is a good manager. He's really... he spends a lot of time on his scouting. He knows what he's doing. He's competitive in every game world I've ever been in. I've said this so many times. He is a good manager. I don't agree with Kev on a lot of other things, but he is a good manager. And
I think he takes it all a bit too personal sometimes.
100% he takes it way too personally, but there you go. It's each to their own. But yeah. I can't sit here and say they're doing wonderful when they're not.
No, I don't think anybody could. I don't think even he would.
And other factors come into it. They are the biggest club in TFF. They have the biggest gate receipts. They get the most amount of money. They started off with a pretty decent setup, probably 3rd, 4th best team in the game. And they've underachieved.
The excuses don't help either.
No, they don't. They don't. That all adds to it. And it would be nice if he could reflect and maybe think other people have a point, but I just don't think he would do that. I think he just thinks we're all bullying him. And
It's just always on the defensive, isn't it?
there are two sides, because I suppose if you're constantly getting criticised, it probably gets you down. And then other people probably think we're all nasty bullies, leave them alone and all the rest of it. But I don't know. We have to be. I'm just trying to be as authentic and transparent as I can. And if he starts winning, we'll give him praise.
So what if Man U finished fifth? That'd be a good...
Sorry, Richie, say that again.
If Man United finished fifth,
then in my opinion, they've failed.
so you don't think finishing fifth would be a good season for them?
Definitely not. Manchester United should never be finishing fifth in any kind of game of any kind. The top, even fourth isn't great. Fourth is the minimum for Manchester United in my
Even though it would be their highest league position so far, like to date.
But that just shows how badly they've done in the previous 2 years. They just come seventh, Richie.
Yeah.
United should be challenging for the title every single season.
Fourth would be disappointing and like the bare minimum. Fourth. They've never got close to fourth.
I was just going on how strong the other teams are, though. I mean, you've got the top three, and Man U get off them, didn't they?
Richie, that's life, isn't it? That's real life. There are other strong teams. It's a battle.
Yeah, true.
You've got to remember that Tottenham are not at the races at the moment. So it's one competitor, you would say, not there. Man City are not as strong as they should be.
Yeah, it's there for Man United. It's there for them.
It should be an easier job to get in the top four, but no, but it should be an easier job.
Watford, Everton, and Southampton finish above them.
They should be. They've got brilliant managers, but Man United should be finishing above those teams.
They should.
That's bread and butter. That is bread and butter for Man United.
Yeah.
What you would say, but yeah.
If there's anybody out there that would like to have a crack at doing these panel shows, by the way, I'd personally support it and I'd be happy to help them. I can't see it. No one's ever volunteered or shown any interest in doing these. But if people are getting a bit fed up with my voice and my style, I'd be amazed. It'd be great to see someone else do them, and perhaps they'd be a bit more positive and happy than me. I don't know. Yeah.
And just one small thing to add. First game of the season in Division 1's the Manchester Derby, just so everyone knows. City against
United winning that, Richie, and I think United will get off to a good start.
I've already commented on that.
If you look at Kev's team, the age has gone up.
Yeah.
It's a very specific.
Well, they got rid of the likes of Dele Alli, and that was the first thing he was saying. Like, I'm building for the future. I've got young players and that. Then it kind of changed. He brought in, was it Gareth Bale and a couple of others. You're right. The age did go up. The ratings went up, and they didn't really get any better, did they?
Well, we'll see.
No, but asking for trouble. If you have a policy and an ideal way of doing things, you should stick to that wherever you win, lose or draw. When you start changing things that dramatically,
yes, it's kind of like he let everyone get into his head, wasn't it? Similar to what Nick Justice done to Hammer.
I would disagree with you two on that one. I would say that if things are going wrong, you should be proactive and find another solution. That's what I would do. There's been times when I've struggled in a game world, and I'm not just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to act.
I must admit, I'm quite stubborn. I'm one of those that's stubborn.
No, I would be opposite to that, Dom. If I see a problem and it's just not working, I'm going to change it.
I would change my tactics, but I wouldn't change how I buy and how I would set up the team. So I would still buy the same.
You've seen it
players.
in real life. Sometimes one signing can be the catalyst to something. Seen it many times. A player comes in a January window and has an amazing effect on teams. Long time ago, but Eric Cantona signed for Manchester United and changed history. He was the catalyst, in my opinion, for United's success. He was the missing link. United had everything going for them, and then they brought Cantona in.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yes, it's a good point.
that now United could have carried on
Yep.
at that
I would
point
love
20 odd years ago. We don't need anyone. We're good. We've got all these lovely players, and this is our philosophy. But that one little ingredient.
I'm not saying you should never add to the team, never improve it, but for me, I'm one of those that would stick to the policy that I know. I wouldn't go out and just buy a load of older players just to hopefully.
I'm going to stick up for Kev on this. If Kev is losing and doesn't do anything, people will have a go and say, "Well, you're not very proactive. You're stubborn." And then if Kev changes it, people say, "Oh, you've got rid of your philosophy." I kind of think Kev's done the right thing. Yeah, I think he had to start competing, and he's gone for higher rated players. So I think Kev's done
but
the
then
right thing.
if you do that, you've got to win. It's like you said about with Orient and Wimbledon getting promoted. It's like if you do that, you have to win, and he's not winning, is he?
Well, let's see how it goes in season 3. But the pressure's only going to intensify.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, all the best, guys. Thanks very much for watching.
Catch you later, boys.
Thanks for Hammer. Thanks for Richie. Thanks for Dom for coming on.
Have fun, guys.
See you later, lads.
See you later.